Let us begin with acknowledging one bold and irrefutable fact right at the beginning. There is no figure in Pakistan, indeed in the living world today, whose moral authority, vision and humanity stand higher than those of Dr. Adeebul Hasan Rizvi. He has not only transformed medicine, he has transformed our very understanding of mercy, of compassion, of what it means to serve. His work has blessed innumerable lives, indeed has given life itself back to countless human beings. Through his mission, he lifted human dignity to the skies, offering life-saving care to those who could never have dreamt of it. Adib is irreplaceable, luminous and magnificent, and yet utterly humble and unrelentingly kind. He is that rarest of souls who appear but once in centuries. I have waited decades to say this. There lives no man whose life has been of greater consequence to the suffering of others than Adeebul Hasan Rizvi. Let me tell you why I speak with such conviction. I met Dr. Rizvi in 1971 when he had just returned from England and I had just entered Dow Medical College, a wide-eyed 18-year-old stepping into the world of medicine. He was brimming with purpose, bright with that quiet fire of someone who knew things could be different. We, his students, felt his energy instantly. You see, a true teacher doesn't merely impart knowledge. A true teacher ignites courage. The courage to imagine a better world and the will to build a better world. Long before he performed his first kidney transplant, he performed a far greater transplant. He transplanted into our hearts the belief that medicine is not just a profession, but a promise to stand with the suffering, wherever they are, whoever they are, and irrespective of what they can pay. There are few people like Adib who choose to walk this walk. This walk is by Habib Jalib, called Dasht-e-Wafa. जिनको जहां का दर्द है मादूद चंद है, जिनको जहां का दर्द है मादूद चंद है, अरे वरना तमाम अपनी तरक्की पसंद हैं. It's always about self-promotion. जिनको जहां का दर्द है मादूद चंद हैं, वरना तमाम अपनी तरक्की पसंद हैं, अरे दश्ते वफा में साथ वो मेरे क्यों चले, नादा नहीं है दोस्त बहुत होशमंद है. Most people are preoccupied with self-promotion. There is loneliness for those who choose the path of Dasht-e-Wafa. Adib is a musafir who didn't remain alone. That's the miracle that he created, not just one miracle. Adib kept creating miracle after miracle, because where Habib Jalib is saying that Dasht-e-Wafa ka musafir akela hoga, what Adib managed to do is, मैं अकेला ही चला था जानिबे मंजिल मगर लोग साथ आते गए और कारवां बनता गया. Adib is a powerful magnet who pulls others into his orbit by the sheer force of his conviction and purpose, transforming a solitary effort into a collective movement. It is a profound reflection on his leadership, courage, and the contagious nature of sincerity. As we mark this anniversary of Global SIUT in Houston, I would like to offer my deepest congratulations to this caravan, the entire staff of SIUT, the doctors, nurses, technicians, volunteers. We want you to know you are not alone. We see you. We support you. We are here tonight to acknowledge you. May you continue to thrive, to multiply, and to heal the suffering. In the end, it's always about the patient. And donors, like all of you here tonight, are carrying this torch of compassion forward by playing your role faithfully and paying your dues, because the spirit of Adib Rizvi is in your hearts. Living in these banquet halls just as well as it does in the corridors of SIUT, you are making sure that no patient ever has to stand alone. So I would like to thank all of you. From Adib's single and simple principle of equality grew an entire philosophy of medicine, one that turned SIUT into more than a hospital. It has become a moral movement, a living testament to the idea that healing cannot be bought and sold, only shared. In a world where healthcare has become an industry, Adib dared to make it an act of worship. He erased the cruel arithmetic of who can afford to live and who must be left to die. It is where medicine has recovered its original meaning, the restoration not just of the body but of justice itself. At SIUT, where the lines for outpatient departments are wrong, there is a rule etched in stone. Whether you are a prime minister or a homeless person off the street, you have to stand in that outpatient OPD line. But Adib made two exceptions. One, if you are a woman who's carrying a baby who's crying, you can break the line and go to the front. The second is so moving. If you can prove that you are a teacher, whether you are teaching kindergarten or sophisticated postgraduate students, if you can prove you are a teacher, you break that line. Why? Because Adib truly understands the value of a teacher. A teacher who is wise does not bid you to enter the house of wisdom. A wise teacher leads you to the threshold of your own mind. And that is what Adib has been doing for all of us. He consistently leads us to the threshold of our better selves. We owe him. Thank you for coming tonight in droves to show your gratitude and your support for him. And so how does a student like me repay a teacher like Adib Rizvi? I learned from him that gratitude is not paid with words. It is paid with work. He taught me that instead of lamenting all that is wrong with the system, go to the heart of the problem, the patient. Understand what would serve the patient best and just start doing it. Just do it and never stop. So if I look at myself, Adib's student, I am not even satisfied myself, leave alone satisfying my teacher, because I have failed to cure cancer. But at least in one instance, I hope I did not disappoint you. I hope I did not disappoint you, sir. I will use the words of our wonderful contemporary poet Fawad Hussain to plead my case. मैं न जाने कब से सफर में हूँ, मैं न जाने कब से सफर में हूँ, मगर अब भी मेरी जबीन पर न शिकस्ते अज़्म का दाग है, न लकीर गर्दे मलाल की. You taught me that the struggle and the solitude must be endured without letting despair leave its mark. For 40 years, thanks to you, I have stuck to my first cell approach of curing cancer by revolutionizing early detection, despite universal opposition by those chasing the last cell. You taught me not to give up and to keep at it without becoming bitter. जुस्तुजू जिसकी थी उसको तो न पाया हमने. I was trying to cure cancer, I didn't get there. जुस्तुजू जिसकी थी उसको तो न पाया हमने, इस बहाने से मगर देख ली दुनिया में. तुझको रुसवा न किया, खुद भी पशेमाना हुए. I did not begin to question my goal, nor did I feel embarrassed that I did not give it my all. तुझको रुसवा न किया, खुद भी पशेमाना हुए, इश्क की रस्म को इस तरह निभाया. That's what Adib taught us, that real character comes from inner steadfastness. Preserve through trial after trial. Suffer, but don't surrender, because your soul is illuminated by the joy of purpose. And Imam Ali said it so eloquently, so beautifully. The fruit of a good action, the fruit of a good action is like its root. You only have to have the right intention. If it is good, the good intention itself is the fruit. The fruit of a good action is like its root. That is why Adib Rizvi does not need a Nobel Prize to prove how great he is, because his action is good. You only need to look at how he has conducted himself. When he was a young man, he saw that thousands were dying because dialysis wasn't available to the poor. He did not complain, he acted. He decided that dialysis would be available for everyone and that it would be free. He decided that treatment would be offered in a place where no one's dignity was diminished by poverty or privilege. And as if that was not enough, he turned dialysis into a bridge to the greater miracle of kidney transplantation. And from those decisions grew an entire revolution. After completing his fellowship from the Royal College of Surgeons of England, Adib returns to Karachi and in 1971 established the Department of Urology at Civil Hospital Karachi as a modest 8-bedded unit. By 1991, that small seed had become the Sindh Institute of Urology and Transplantation, recognized by the government as an autonomous institute. From 8 beds to 1,600 beds, from a handful of patients. This statistic is so unbelievable. From a handful of patients to 35 million treated free of cost. stands as a living embodiment of Adib's belief that healthcare is the birthright of every individual, to be provided free with dignity. Here, the most advanced technologies, robotic surgery, PET-CT, radiotherapy are available not for the few who can pay, but for all who need them. SIUT, whose core strength lies in nephrology, urology and transplantation, has recently expanded its services with launch of a dedicated children's hospital. The Mehrunisa Medical Center stands as one of the largest freestanding cancer hospitals in the region. How many things can this man do? It's introduced advanced technologies such as MR, PET, cyclotrons, completely free of cost to patients at point of care. When Adib called me a few weeks ago, asking me to travel to Houston to speak at this special occasion, it could not have been a more inconvenient time for me personally. You see, these are the exact days when I am moving out of Azra Mahal on sudden notice, an apartment that I had occupied for many years. So at the moment I'm kind of homeless, squatting at a friend's apartments as I search for transition into a new space. And then of course there are my 1,000 complicating professional engagements. All of this floated in front of my eyes as I had the phone. And you know, it took me the long, infinite 1/100th of a second to say yes. Of course I'll come to Boston. When I told my daughter Shehrzad that I'm going to Houston, she complained, "Mommy, you don't have time to see me. Why are you going to Houston?" But when I told her that because Adib called me, her immediate response was, "Oh, of course, you have to go." In fact, each of my siblings had the same exact reaction when I told them. Of course you have to go. Why? Because each one of us has learned the respect owed a teacher from Adib himself. For the Raza family, from Shehrzad to my older sister Amra, if Adib says jump, our only question is, "How high, sir?" So to use the words of Anwar Masood, why am I in Houston? Zamane ko zamane ki padi hai, ज़माने को ज़माने की पड़ी है, हमें वादा निभाने की पड़ी है। ज़माने को ज़माने की पड़ी है, हमें वादा निभाने की पड़ी है। ये दुनिया चांद पर पहुंची हुई है, हमें ह्यूस्टन को जाने की पड़ी है। Why? Because I owe whatever I am professionally today to my teachers, and the best of the best I have been fortunate enough to have is Adib Rizvi. He is my mentor, my guide, my khizr since I was a teenager, and my friend since forever. Because fortunately, even as idealized him for obvious reasons, for entirely obvious reasons, Adib also developed a soft corner for me from the moment of our first encounter back in '71. 20 years ago, when I became the chief of hematology, oncology and bone marrow transplantation at the University of Massachusetts, one of the first things I did was to approach the university and ask them to award an honorary degree to Adib Rizvi. They balked at the suggestion, said, "Well, we are very picky, etc." So I said, "Okay, let me tell you something about Adib." And I wrote a compelling letter to the Board of Trustees. I didn't have to do much. All I had to do was simply summarize his miraculous achievements at SIUT. Guess what? He received one of the few unanimous votes to be granted the honor in the history of the university. He came to Massachusetts, stayed with us for a week, brought his family with him, and I just want to read a short paragraph that the Chancellor of the university read during his citation. Quote, "A vital part of the mission of University of Massachusetts Medical School is to enhance health services for citizens of the Commonwealth, no matter their circumstance, and we strive to instill that value in our future physicians, nurses and scientists. I can therefore think of no finer example than Adib Rizvi to personify that mission. Despite the opportunity to practice medicine in Great Britain, you chose to return to Pakistan and use your skill to better the lives of its most disadvantaged citizens. As the main architect of SIUT, you have provided modern, comprehensive and free healthcare to the poorest in the nation. Your philosophy of a partnership between government and the public sector makes you a shining example of a humanitarian dedicated to the needs of the underserved. End quote. As is obvious to anyone who has met him, Adib's only passion is to serve. And he has done so for decades with profound compassion and utter humility. Adib is allergic to being praised. He's far beyond being made happier or more famous by the laudatory things we say about him. In Zubaida Mustafa's remarkable book, Making the Impossible Possible, which tells the story of SIUT, his picture is conspicuously missing until page 35. And when you finally see him, it's not in a formal portrait, but speaking to a young patient in a flood relief camp. Even if he were to receive the Nobel Prize today, it would not be Adib who would grow in honor, it would be the prize that would grow in honor. No account of Adib's life would be complete without acknowledging the woman who made this lifelong service possible, his beloved wife, the late Dr. Azra Rizvi. For more than 4 decades, she freed him to pursue his dreams by shouldering the responsibility of their home and family, while herself serving as a physician. Her passing in 2011 left a profound void in Adib's life, filled by what else but increased devotion to his work and to his patients. I have known him for over 6 decades, and he has always looked and acted exactly as he does today, driven by insatiable curiosity, interested in big things, made happy in small ways, showing up to work with the same enthusiasm and warmth today as he did in 1971. I was in Pakistan in December 23. Adib invited me to speak at SIUT. The hall was packed. I gave my lecture on cancer. Adib raised his hand at the end of my lecture and said, "Azra, you're doing good work. Now, recite some Meeranis for me." And of course I did. I recited 8 buns of Meeranis after a cancer lecture. To all of you in this room, let me leave you to think about the true source of Adib Rizvi's conviction. His unshakable sense of justice, equality, compassion. To find his source of inspiration, you will need to look into a different universe altogether. A moral universe. A universe where Adib learned what it means to serve without hierarchy, to stand tall before challenges, to honor the human being not just for who they are, but for the suffering they carry. It is from this wellspring of dedication, valor and humility that SIUT was born. The fire that burnt in the hearts of its heroes glows in Adib's heart, turning devotion into action, poetry and purpose. So tonight, let us remember that his inspiration did not come from textbooks or from systems. The journey of SIUT is not a story of resources or of power. It is a story of devotion, absolute, unbending, uncompromising wafa. That devotion can be so complete that one's name can become synonymous with the word wafa. That embodiment of wafa stirs Adib to greater action each day, even now. And in the presence of such grace, all we can do is bend our heads in respect to Adib. I know you will be watching me, sir, from your office in SIUT in Karachi, sir. I feel your presence amongst all of us in this hall tonight, sir, larger than life. And I hear your command as I near the end of my talk. Azra, you gave a good talk. But I wish it was less about me and more about the work that remains to be done. And now, recite some Dabeer for me. So here it is. Let me end with one stanza by Dabeer, and I dedicate it to serve with love. Dabeer captures the magnitude and thunder of the one man in our history whose name has become synonymous with the word wafa. Abbas bin Ali. His devotion, his wafa, as he stood alone in front of 30,000 men of Yazid's army, firm in the face of impossibility, a force so pure, so resolute, that the very universe trembled. It is not merely his physical power that terrified the world. It is the sense of loyalty and of absolute devotion being so complete that heaven itself stood in awe. किस शेर की आमद है कि रंग कांप रहा है, रुस्तम का बदन ज़ेरे कफन कांप रहा है, हर असरे सलातीने ज़मन कांप रहा है, अरे सब एक तरफ चरखे कोहन कांप रहा है, शमशीर बकफ देख के हैदर के पिसर को जिब्रील लरजते हैं समेटे हुए पर को। अदीब रिजवी जिंदाबाद, SIUT जिंदाबाद।